you're lucky to have a very strong support system at home with friends and family, don't lose that. Touch base with them. Let them you can find solace in them too. And then you also have people here that can relate with whatever you are going through. And I have people back at home that you can talk to and like step back from everything, because that will also give you clarity, especially when you're recruiting. Some people, it works out well, like from the beginning they get the job during the normal recruiting phase, but for many it doesn't work out that way. So having that mental strength really to go through that. And I would say for me, faith is also very, very important. Like, if you believe in God, I don't know, I believe in God and I anchor everything to Him. And I think that also helps me when I'm going through like different phases or challenges.
Welcome to a special production of the Business 101 podcast. I am your host, Ayo. Oye. This is a limited series, specifically sharing stories and experiences from some of the world's most selective and most prestigious business schools from the lens of recent international graduates. And if you don't want to miss out on conversations like this, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on notifications. Today, I have the immense honor of welcoming a special guest from one of America's coldest business schools, and one that needs no introduction. Ranked consistently as one of the most prestigious in North America and the world, Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth. Today's guest is Neemah Muhammadraji. Neemah is a proud Nigerian and investment banking associate at Jefferies. She is also a class of 2025 grad from Tuck, where she served as co-chair of Tuck Africa Club, supporting African students and prospective applications in their MBA journeys. Before Tuck, Neemah spent 5 years in Nigeria, building experience across investment banking, venture capital, and impact investing with firms like Coronation Merchant Bank and Olon, an impact investment firm funded by Shell Petroleum Development Company. In that role, he represented the fund on the boards of several portfolio companies. She holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Lagos, is a chartered accountant and a CFA Charterholder. Neemah is deeply passionate about expanding access for underserved children through education, exposure, and mentorship. All of that said, it is my pleasure to welcome Neemah to the podcast. Thank you for coming on, Neemah.
Thank you, Ayo, for having me here. I'm really excited about having this conversation with you.
Yeah,
And I hope that listeners get to learn and enjoy from some of the experiences I'll be sharing here.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll find it useful. Thank you so much. It's been a while. We've been trying to find time that works, and I'm happy we finally figured it out. I'm looking forward to the conversation. Neemah, I feel like a good place to start would be to talk a bit about your background, right? I mean, I already kind of shared a bit about that background, but I know I barely scratched the surface, right? So I wanted to add on more flesh and breathe some life into that profile. Who was Neemah before the MBA, right? So ignoring the MBA for a minute, who was Neemah growing up, childhood, and then work experience before the MBA? What was that like?
You want us to go personal? Okay,
Yeah, a bit of
so
that.
yes, Nima. I don't let me talk in the third person, but so I am the first child of my family, the first daughter, and so like from a very young age, I've had a very deep sense of responsibility, as you may be able to relate as a Nigerian. Like it's quite expected in a Nigerian household.
Yeah,
Yes, so I have three siblings, and from a very young age, I held myself to a very high standard in terms of like my academics and morals. And that has helped me to be able to be consistent across my journey from primary school, secondary school up onto the university. So I'd say that I'm the good girl, the model child. So I attended secondary school in Shomolu, Nigeria.
yeah,
Shomolu, Lagos,
Lagos.
Nigeria.
Yeah,
Yes, MIMS called MIMS Comprehensive College. It's a faith-based school, a Muslim school. And yeah, I graduated as valedictorian.
let's go.
Yes, and I moved on to the to the University of Lagos, very close to my house then.
Interesting.
Yes, and studied accounting at the university. Also finished with the first class. So, like I said, the
Yo,
consistency.
yo.
Yes, yes. So I'm the good girl, the model
You
good
are the
girl.
good girl. You're like
Yeah,
my older sister, so I'm the third child, the firstborn, is exactly like you. And growing up, my mom used to use her as example for everything.
example.
I feel like the weight of responsibility was too much on her. She could not even be a bad girl. So,
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of pressure because as you're building your profile, you're also having certain expectation of yourself outside the people that are looking up to you. And I'll say sometimes it's a good feeling and it could be a driver too. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure. So yeah, the university, post university, I started like my ICANN exams. So yeah, I'm a chartered accountant. I never got to do my induction, so I passed all the exams. And yes, I never did the
I got
induction.
inducted virtually. I got inducted in 2022 virtually. I had to just do it virtually.
Oh my God, maybe I should do that because I
Yeah, you should
passed all
probably
my
do that.
exams since 2017. So that's why you wouldn't see me use the ACA designation, but say
Mm.
yeah. Um, yes, so I also so post university, I actually thought I was going to be an accountant. I wanted to pursue audits. Like that's the typical career path for people
Mm.
that study accounting. But then somehow I found myself in investment banking because I got exposure and I found like based on like who I am, that suits me more. I don't want to go into the details of that. So I started my career in Coronation Merchant Bank. I did investment banking for about 3 years as a generalist, working across. You can
Coronation is
go.
my almost employer in 2018. We're just discussing that. I almost
Yeah,
worked for
yeah, we
Coronation
did
as well.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we met now, yeah.
yeah.
It's good. I had a great experience working in Coronation Investment Banking. Like I was saying, I was a generalist, so I work across the product groups, a capital market and project and structured finance. And it was a sector agnostic team. So did that for about 3 years and then I thought about like what else do I want to do? Looking into like from my exposure in investment banking and seeing like the the way Nigeria is, right? In terms of like the epileptic power supply and then even getting to know how much that problem is deeply rooted even into some like in some communities where we call them underserved or even unserved
Mm.
communities where they don't even have access to electricity and they're still in that Nigeria with us. So having opportunity like that so I had an opportunity at all on to make impacts in that
Mm.
respect with the companies that we were investing in. So I joined
Interesting.
all on,
Yeah.
yes, as an investment analyst, grew to the associate level and I represented several companies I represented all on the board of several of the companies. So I really, really
Interesting.
enjoyed like my time there. And I would say that the profile I was able to build and like the passion I built also helped me in like developing my story and everything that also fed into like coming for my MBA,
Yeah.
recruiting and everything, which we would get into uh in the course of this conversation.
Yeah.
I've been
Uh,
talking for a while, so
no,
just
see,
keep it at that.
that's exactly where we should be going next, right? Because
Yeah.
you had already been doing this amazing stuff. Like you already had big names on your resume. Was
Mhm.
already driving value, doing impactful work.
Mhm.
Where did an MBA come into the conversation? Um, yeah, why did you decide 2023 was the right time to
Okay, so for me, MBA was not something that I just thought of out of the blue. It has always been in the plan.
go? Okay.
So the way I mean, glory to God, but I've always had a vision for at every point in my life. I always have a vision for the next 2 or 3 steps. So MBA.
What do you see yourself in 5 years? I want to copy your answer. I want to be copying your answer.
Sometimes when you are even answering like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Mm,
The answer might not even be, it might just be like the typical answer that you want people to hear in interview. It
mm,
might not necessarily be what
believe
you
it.
plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to suit your audience. Yeah, yeah. But really, what I'm trying to say is that MBA is something that I planned to do, but I mean, there were some like personal circumstances that I was also considering that made me push it up until 2023. But it has always been in the plan. And the reason why it was in the plan was because I knew that I wanted to gain like global exposure in this world of finance. During the course of my research and talking to people, I realized that MBA would be a great way to put me on that pedestal to be able to get the kind of opportunities I would like to land in place like in the US, where in New York, where it's like the hub, the finance hub or like investment banking hub of the world. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Amazing. And I mean, I'm not sure if you followed directly from that, but a lot of people when they start now thinking about getting an MBA, there's always kind of the trade-off between like an European MBA versus a North American MBA. And I say North America very specifically, right? Because it could be Canada, it could be the US or whatever, right? Did you have that kind of consideration, or was it always going to be the US?
it was always going to be the US for me. So, like I said, before I decided to do so, for me, it was the end. What do I want to achieve,
Yeah.
right? And that's what determined like the kind of schools that I applied to. It was also what determined like the place. Like it has to be the I wanted to do investment banking.
Yeah.
So it just thought that to be the US. They were like, I feel like I need to also have like a big bucket of opportunities, and the US present that to me
Yeah.
for investment banking. So it just made sense for me to come to the US.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, we're going to get into how talk came into the conversation, how you decided to go to talk. But first, I guess what I want to first ask is what the conversation was like with your parents, with your friends when you decided, oh, I'm going to leave this my fancy job that everybody wants in Nigeria and
Mhm.
go and be an F1 student in America. I mean, as the firstborn, what was that like for you? Was that something your parents supported? Were they a bit reluctant? What did that look like?
Okay, so I'll start from my friends, and this speaks to like having people that will not douse your fire, people that will feel your fire even when you are the one dousing it
Mm,
yourself, right?
mm,
When you have doubt about yourself, people that believe so much in you
yeah.
and remind you of who you are. And I would say that those are the kind of people that I have around me. So when I was even like I said, like there was like personal circumstance that made me push my MBA up until now. But when I told my friends that I want to do this and like, oh, these are the constraints that I'm thinking about, they were actually the one that actually encouraged me that Nima, you can do this.
Mm,
If at all anybody should do this, you should be the one doing this. Like we believe so much in you, so trust do it. Just do this. We'll figure it out like along the way. I'm not disclosing the personal circumstance here, but yeah, like you'll figure it out along the way. Like you can do this. So like, and they kept on encouraging me, introducing me to people, like people to talk to when it comes to like researching like the schools to apply to. And I also have friends that have done this before. So they're telling me like if we can do this, if this person can do this, you can do it too. And like in terms of like the conversation with my parents, so like it's I'm the first child. I know how to manage. I've been a manager. I know how to manage my parents. So like sometimes there is a way like you don't have to not be transparent. Like you can be transparent with them, but there's a way that like you present your situation to them that will probably most likely allay whatever fear that you anticipate that they would have. That is what I did. First, I did not disclose how much loan I would be getting, but I disclosed how much scholarship I got.
mm,
So like they were really excited about that. And I also so like I took them along the journey when I decided I want to pursue an MBA now. This is what it entails. I'll be applying to schools, so schools. So I name dropped school that
they
they
would
would
want,
like.
yeah,
Yes, they would want like schools they know.
that first
So I
class. You deserved it.
Thanks for thanks for that. So like I name drop school that they know. Like okay, let me give you context. I'm a first generation graduate. So like managing my parents and their expectation is also like something that I have to do because sometimes I have to like explain and make them in a way that they have to relate with like my situation, which is not like typical of like what they see around them. Like because I have transitioned from that particular, I don't want to say like maybe like social, for lack of a better one, let me like social class to like another. So breaking it down to like the way they would understand it. So that's why I had to like name drop that, oh, these are the schools I'm applying to. And I also explain like the opportunities that going to those schools, the opportunities it presents. And I told them that. And when I gained the admission, they were so happy. They didn't know talk, but I applied to Harvard. I didn't get into Harvard, but they didn't know talk. But I had to explain to them it's also an Ivy League. It's also this. It's also this. I can also achieve the things I'm setting out to do. I like to achieve. I can also achieve those things there. And then, like I said, I mentioned the scholarship I got. I told them I'll be getting loan, but I never mentioned the amount because I know it would just be so scary to them. We don't have anybody at home. We're like this would be too much. So like I told them, oh yeah, just just managing that. And just before like I came, like an almost tragedy happened, like when my dad got sick and I was contemplating on going on. But in that period, they weren't actually encouraging me that like you have worked so much for this opportunity. Don't lose it. Like you have to go. So even though like I was like when I was leaving, I had cute that, oh, I'm leaving my family in this situation and everything.
Yeah.
But like I was so sure that I had their backing.
Yeah.
There was no bad blood that, oh, you're leaving us with this and everything. Yeah. So I had
Amazing.
support from them.
Amazing. And how's
Just
your dad
manage
now?
conversation with your parents.
Yeah.
I lost him last year, so
Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that. But yeah, what of you specifically, right? Once you decided you were gonna get an MBA, was
Mhm.
there any point where you almost didn't go? Were you reluctant at any part of the application process, or was it okay? I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get it, whatever it takes.
There was never a time I felt like I wasn't going until like my dad got sick.
Mm,
So it was a situation of maybe I should delay this for the love I have for my family. So it wasn't like, oh, yeah, I had doubt about whether being successful there or
okay.
anything. I had doubt at the beginning, but like I
Yeah.
said, I spoke to people who kind of like allayed my fears. They gave me examples of people that have done it before.
Mm,
And I actually spoke to those people. So, and that speaks to having good people around you. People, whatever you want to become, look out for people that have become that thing. It
yeah.
just makes the journey easier and relatable for you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem so grand that, oh, I
Yeah.
cannot achieve this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was never a time. Was I scared that like will I get in and everything? Yes,
Of
I had
course.
moments like that because like I applied to many schools because yeah, I wouldn't say I want to call myself eccentric, but like the way people say, oh, safe school, apply to
Mm,
safe schools, apply to schools. I just told myself
mm,
I'm either going to an M7 school
or not.
or an Ivy League. Like they are parts of M7, but not all of them.
Yeah.
So I was like Ivy League or M7. My safe school is also within that M7 and
Mm,
Ivy League. So that was what I did because I don't want to have a situation where I would gain an admission and I'll feel like could I have gotten better?
mm,
So and that also informed the schools that I went to. And
yeah.
then the visa.
Wait, we're gonna get into that next.
We shouldn't get
That's
there,
where we're
okay?
going. Actually, that's where we're going next. But I just wanted to
Okay.
emphasize something you said about surrounding yourself with, people who have done or in the process of doing the same thing that you want to do, right? A very wise person said, you're an average of your five closest friends, right? So if you
Yeah.
look around and you name your five closest friends, can predict, that's a good way to predict what your life is likely going to look like, right? Because we get inspiration and motivation from the people that we're surrounded with. So that's a very important thing to say. I think that's thank you so much for saying that. But yes, let's talk about the visa. In fact, let's talk about the entire application process, right?
Okay.
So this is GRE, GMAT, visa, what else? Application fee waivers,
Mm-hmm.
the entire application process. And I don't have any question right now. I just want you to rant. Just talk to me.
She just ran.
Just rant first.
Okay. Okay. So when I started this process, like I said, I spoke to people and I went through the process of shortlisting. So I said I had a vision. Ivy League or M7 of the Ivy League, then I had to like now shortlist the schools that like I wanted to go to. So I spoke with people, and so I think I shortlisted to about five. So I only applied to five schools.
Okay.
And by the time I decided that, oh, I was going to proceed with my applications that year, it was already late to apply for first round. So I rushed and applied to, I think, MIT for my first round. And it wasn't a great application, I'll tell you. So when they didn't invite me, I knew that I didn't put in the work.
Cool.
The work, like even me, so I was like, okay, let me just try. You never can tell. But I feel like I could have done better. I wanted to like apply to. I considered mostly what I wanted to do. So at that point in time, I was thinking of doing moving from finance to consulting. And that came from like my experience representing on the board of some of the portfolio companies. I was like, okay, maybe this is what I would do, like long-term business strategy and like things like that. So I was thinking along that line, and I thought that maybe like consulting would be the next thing for me, but I wasn't sure. So like I wanted to be in a school where even if I decided that like consulting is not what I want. So, and it's okay not to be sure. That's what I wanted to point out now. It's okay not to be sure what you wanted to do, but like have your plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. I think they say that like even like while recruiting
Yeah.
in school, right? So like I was like, if at all I'm this consulting that I want to dabble into, if I find out that it does not work, one thing that I know I'm sure I want to do is finance,
Mm.
investment banking or something related. So I was sure I was going to do that. So I needed it. I needed to be like in a school that offers me both.
That makes sense.
Whatever I choose, yes. That fed into like the schools that like I shortlisted. Then it came to like the point of like applying for schools, right? So
You didn't talk
I
about GRE. We're still gonna come there.
my GRE, God, I should cover my face. You know the way I said, oh, consistently, I have done well. My GRE is not. I'm not so proud of my GRE
In
score.
your defense, I think I don't know if I saw this as empirical data. I think there's empirical data that say that the average MBA student writes GRE 3 times before getting their perfect score or the score that they
I
want.
never got my perfect score. I just I just decide like me, they say like have a very great opinion of yourself. I
Mm,
am that person.
mm.
Because the schools I shortlisted with my GRE score, they don't tally. They are not in tandem. I don't know if I should be saying my GRE score.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm just kidding. I mean, guys, when Neemah says that a GRE does not tally with the score, I can tell you for sure she didn't get a 300 or a 305, right? She's probably like, let's not talk about the particular score, but like you're not gonna get a 305 and get into talk, okay? So
I know,
you do need to
of
do well,
course.
right?
Yes.
Maybe she was planning for
Yeah.
a 340, so that's why she said that.
Anyway, yeah, like it is not what I was like looking for.
Yeah,
Like I say, like hold yourself to like starting standards. So I was hoping to get like higher score. I tried the first time. I didn't get, like I said, I didn't start my application really early. So I tried the first time. Score was not great. I tried the second time. Not still where I wanted it to be.
mm,
But then I needed to apply to school. So I talked to someone, and person was like, your GRE score is a data point. You have a great profile. Why not just try these schools? You never can tell, like you will get them. Because, like I said, the schools I wanted to get into top schools in the world, right?
yeah,
So, and then I did that, like made sure that I wrote my essays, like really, really good essays. I got people to like look at it. People from the school. I even got like a consultant to look at my essays to help me like review and also help like now I can tell my story and all. I don't know if I should be like career guru, that's what they're called. And like
mm.
guy really did a good job like supporting me on that.
Free
Because I
advert
was
for career guru.
yes, I did.
You need to come and pay us. You need to come and pay us.
So like I said, the GRE is a data point. Well, I also say that my situation is peculiar, right? Um, I had a CFA by the time I was applying to school. I'm a chartered accountant. My transcript from the university is impeccable. I'm gassing myself up. Yeah, I've worked in like nice places, and I also even at that I wrote like optional essays. I think for some schools explaining why um my
The
GRE
jury doesn't
score.
matter.
Yes, why the GRE doesn't. Not that it doesn't matter. Like why my GRE score is low.
Mm.
Like really, yeah. So
But
maybe that.
couldn't you have even gotten waivers with like CFA? Like, because I know at least one person that did not write GRE and was in our year. She went to a great school, got into banking internship, then decided to do consulting full time, right? So I'm pretty sure with a CFA you could have gotten waivers.
Yes, yes, I could have gotten waivers, but I think that as at the time I applied to talk, they were not giving. I don't think they were giving
Mm,
GRE
okay.
waivers, even if you have CFA. Then they weren't. I think
Yeah.
they were not.
Mm,
And then I was also thinking that I don't want to. Not all schools were giving GRE waiver, and I don't want to limit myself
okay.
to
Fair.
schools based on GRE waivers that I will not be able
Okay.
to now apply to some schools.
That
I
you
didn't want that.
wanted, yeah.
Yes, I knew what I wanted, even though my GRE score was.
Your bigger choice. I like it. I like it.
Yes, so but then like I feel like the other parts of my application also helped. And I had like my bosses wrote amazing recommendation for me. Up until today, I still go back to those recommendations that okay. Now maybe
What do you people see in me now?
yes, yes. And I'm actually really, really glad that they wrote those recommendations themselves. And yeah, it also gasses me up and everything. I feel like I took time, I spent time on my application. And I think that like my recommenders so also spent time on like they didn't just do
Give it to
what's
me
it
today. I'll
called?
send it to you
Yes,
tomorrow.
yes, they didn't do that. And I told them in advance. So when I started applying, when I made a decision to apply to school, I told the people that were going to recommend me. Two of the people that I've working, I was, as at that time I was working, it was my supervisor, the head of investment at All London. I was still working with him and my former boss, like I had left, he has also left the company. I had also left the company. But I told them because I also have like relationship with them, like beyond the work, while even though I had left my first job, I was
Yeah.
still in touch with my boss. I still carry till now I still carry him along on my career and everything. So it was easy to have him write recommendation for me. So
That makes
relationship
sense.
very, very important. Don't say because you're not working with your boss anymore you will leave them. Yes. What else? My application, my essays. Yes. Speak to people when you're writing essay. Get people from the school you're applying to review your essays. I did that for most of my application. And I did that from talk. People from talk actually looked at my essay for me. And I can remember that like while I thought that my essay was already like perfect and fine, I was ready to submit. And the first person that was reviewing now told me that, oh, I'm the only one that has looked at this your essay.
Mm,
Let me let me get somebody else from school to help you look at it. And when that person looked at my essay, because at talk you write three essays, he was like, your second and third essays seem like to be speaking to the same part of you. Is
mm,
there another angle you can come from to show another personality? And so on that same day when I was supposed to submit was when I rewrote another essay. So yeah, maybe that helped to get into talk. But here we are today.
yeah. Interesting. So
What else?
before you go on, I just want to quickly emphasize some lessons there. One is um surround again back to this surrounding yourself with people that have done or are doing what you want to do, and also like be open to feedback, be able to like take people's feedback, especially if there are people who have done the things that you're trying to do. When the person told you, "Oh, I think these two essays look alike, they're speaking to the same side," you could have said, "Ah, it's my application, whatever." And just being that flexibility to say, okay, I'm gonna rewrite. Probably, I mean, we don't know for sure, but that probably played into your strength, and also the fact that you had stellar recommendations from work. It just meant that you were an excellent person at work. You gave yourself into the work that you did, built solid relationships, and that data point. was able to make up for the GRE data point. So a lot of things to learn even for me in that story. Thank you for sharing. But yes, go on. You haven't spoken about visa.
Like, have we got okay? We've gotten to visa, right?
Yeah, we spoke
Oh
about
no, no.
position. So
Before we get to visa, let's talk about money, right?
yeah, okay.
Money. So for me, like I said, I was hoping that any school I get into, even with my GRE score,
Free ride. You're
me, I was thinking that I was going to get free ride. Like I would get like full funding, but that didn't happen. Although like I got significant amount of money for
that's
like
good.
scholarship, but then I still had to take a lot of loans. So like I tried to get my school to give me more money and everything, but that didn't work out. So I had to like take myself from the point of, oh, this is how much loan I have to take, because it's a lot of money coming from Nigeria. By the time you convert that money to naira, it's actually a lot of money. But then you have to, like, what I did is that I had to switch myself from thinking as somebody that is earning naira to somebody that would eventually be earning like dollar, and
USD.
the opportunity, like, and starts like seeing this as an investment in my future, like over a long period of time, and like the
Mm,
opportunities that this thing availed me, this particular education will avail to me, and that helped me switch from that worry of loan, because I've spoken to a lot of people that I met maybe on LinkedIn, or people
mm,
get introduced to me, and the worry, some people have even also decided not to pursue this MBA
yeah.
because of
The
the money.
financial
Yes,
considerations.
the financial constraint. Yeah. So that's one thing I wanted to mention that.
Okay.
So moving on to visa. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Fasting and prayer. If you're a Nigerian and you want to apply for US visa, fasting and prayer must be I don't know what your own experience is. Did you apply for your visa from
No,
Nigeria?
no. Was
You
yeah.
can
So I don't know.
relate.
See,
You applied you UK before
yeah,
coming
I
to
was in England. That's the value of this podcast, right? Because like that I can't speak to that, and that's why like
Ah,
a lot of people are here to share experience. I've actually gotten different perspectives on this visa. I spoke to someone recently, and they actually like the visa process was a breeze for them. But yeah, I feel like generally it wasn't a very great experience. Let's talk about it.
yeah, me, I wouldn't say, I would say it was a semi breeze for me. It
Okay.
wasn't this thing. But it was just the tension leading up to it, the tension after, and then the joy after eventually getting the visa.
Yeah.
So yeah, for like visa, there was first the hassle of getting a date. Um so when I wanted to apply, I didn't even know that it was that hard, like, to get visa. But then when I gained admission, we got into the visa stage, and then I realized that you have to find a date, and it was so hard finding a date. Like, I think when I started, the earliest available date was the following year, when school when you should almost be rounding up your
First
first year.
year.
Yes, but there is this, and that is why, like, you can't do this application alone. Like, you have to
Yeah.
talk to people, you have to belong to communities. So there is this group for, they call it like Lagos visa application or something. I think they also have the Abuja groups. Wherever you intend to apply to, you can join a group where they will assign like different people. Well, I think every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes to check the platform, see the dates that are available, and inform people so that they can people can easily go and schedule their own
Appointments.
visa interview appointment dates. Yeah. So I joined that group, always checking. Even outside my own allotted time, I'll still check, just going through the process. And eventually, yeah, I got a date. Was it in July, or yeah? Was it in July or in June? Maybe in June. It was almost close to when like we'll be resuming. So I got a date, and then it came to like preparing for like the visa interview. And then I would say sometimes it can be luck, like grace of
Yeah.
God. That's why I
Because
said sin and prayer
yeah,
is very, very important.
because you getting
You
a
wanted to
date
say
in
something?
June or July, right? Meant that you have to get the visa
Yes,
on the
I
first
don't
try.
think it was July. Maybe it was June. I think it
Okay.
was early June. Can't remember. Anyway, I got the visa interview. Then like I had to like join, like, there's usually sessions that they post that, oh, join this session for like interviews and all. Community, very, very important. Join as much groups, WhatsApp groups, you find them as possible. So talk to people. So I joined groups, like saw like different interviews. People would come to say, "Oh, I have gotten my visa, I've been up." A lot more people will come to say, "I've been denied," and then the
Yeah.
tension will rise again. You want to do which what happened to me? Yes, so like my visa interview date, I went there and I was on one line because you have like different stations.
Okay.
I was on one line and it was just close to, I think they were like there was one person after me. And that line that I noticed that from that line, from when I was at the back, the woman had not approved anybody. So I was so scared. I was like, yeah, and everything. And then another station, maybe the person was on break and the person, so I was the first person. The security guy just called me to go and join the other line and told the other guy to join that woman. That man did not get, the man in front of me did not get his visa,
Wow.
not get his visa approved. So when I got to that woman, I was like, oh, present your documentation. Yeah, I told him stories to tell him, oh, I am this, I'm that, I'm earning this, I can afford to pay this and that, I have loan. I said, okay, where is your loan documentation? I did not print my loan.
Approval.
Yes, I did not print. I did not take my loan approval with me. So I'm like, oh, I don't have it here. Da, 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 da. I didn't talk too much because sometimes when you talk too much with these people, there's no one way around it though. But then she was like, okay, I am going to place you on administrative issues. So she didn't reject me outrightly.
Administrative processing. I was,
Yes,
yeah,
administrative hair processing. Imagine, I just felt like if I was with this woman that don't get
it's,
patience, maybe she would have like rejected me. Yes, it was like, I'm going to place you on administrative processing so that you can
upload
submit
it
your
online.
upload.
Yeah.
No, not upload, submit physically.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to like mail it to them. So immediately I mailed my loan documentation. I think I did it the next day because I had it. I just did not take it with me because people did not really mention that. Oh, take your loan documents
Yeah.
with you. It's usually like proof of your personal finance,
Yeah.
your own contribution, and like your scholarship. So I didn't know that I had to take my loan this thing. So yeah, I did that every day. I was checking that administrative this and that they should not deny me. So when eventually changed to approve, I was so
So happy.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my own visa experience. Not so bad,
Yeah.
right?
Not so bad. Not so bad, actually.
Fast
Yeah.
and pray.
I actually have a funny visa story. I was applying for, this was before the MBA. I was applying for a US visit visa from England. This was 2021 or 22, whatever. I was working in England at the time. I was working for Deloitte. So I was like, how did they deny me visa now? I applied for the visa on the interview date. I checked the document that I'm supposed to bring. They did not write anything. They just wrote your passport and whatever. So I literally only walked in with my passport. And then the person was like, oh, so you're going to the US, why are you visiting? The time I was supposed to visit my friend. Can I have your invitation letter? I do not have it printed. Can I have your evidence of your employment in the UK or like your legal papers in the UK? I do not have it. I didn't take my BRP at the time, my British resident passport. Is that what the P means here? I think so. British residence permit.
Permit.
Yeah.
Permit.
I didn't take it. I'm like, okay, you work for Deloitte. Can I see your ID card? Ah, that one paying me because I was going from work. I didn't have my ID card. The guy looked at me and was like,
Yeah, not ready.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put you on administrative processing, and
Lucky
then
you.
you are gonna upload this online, and then your visa will be approved. That's how I know what administrative processing is.
Okay. I would say that you're lucky because if that was in Nigeria, you probably
I'm
would have
pretty sure.
gotten
I'm
rejected.
very sure I would have. Yes, I would have. But yeah, wow, thank you so much for being very open, very vulnerable, but I think most importantly, very instructive about what your journey was like and the lessons that listeners can take for this, for their own application. So if you're going to be applying for a visa in the Nigerian US visa office, go with your loan document. So even if nobody tells you, okay? But let's talk a bit more about talk, right? If you're American or if you live in America before the MBA, you have one unique advantage for the application process, which is the fact that you can physically visit the school you want to apply to or the schools you want to apply to and like experience day in the life, attend class, all of that. Try and see if the community or the culture, if the school's culture is the right fit for you. As an international, there's a lot of restriction in that regard, right? So a lot of people have to choose based on what I consider arbitrary things like ranking, amount of funding you get, and things like that, right? And there's been instances where people, choose based on those things and then resume at school to realize, it's not a great fit. I don't feel like I belong here and things like that, right? What did that feel like for you, right? So one, assume that I don't know. Tell me where Talk is, where your school is located, what the city is like, how you felt about the city. So if you enjoyed the city, what kind of activities you used to get up to while you were there, things like that. And then I'll ask a few more questions.
Okay, so Talk School of Business at Dartmouth is in Hanover, New Hampshire,
Yeah.
in the US.
Yeah. The
It's a
Midwest,
very
right?
it's in the East. They call him East.
East. Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, um, so I mean, it's during the winter. It's usually very, very cold. Like we call it the Upper
Brutal.
Valley, or we are in the woods. So you have this like you're in the wood feel. A lot of the activities we do for fun is hiking.
Yeah.
Fall or summer, fall mostly. Like people hike a lot. Like there are a lot of like I did a couple of hiking myself. Yeah, and then another fun activity that Turkey is known for is like skiing. With like ski. I also
Yeah.
have like experience. Thank God I never broke any limb while doing that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like we have the Dartmouth skiway. I think there are a couple of skiway. I've only been to the Dartmouth skiway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a couple of like skiways like around the community. It's kind of like it's a the school is in a college environment,
Hmm.
meaning that like the school is the most thing like
Yeah.
it's the place where
That's the only
most
thing
things
happening
happen.
there.
Yes, yes, that's the only thing happening there. It's not like maybe in the city here in New York. Yeah. So one thing we say is that you create your own talk experience. So before coming to talk, like I said, I had conversation with a friend who like was also there,
Okay.
and we are kind of like similar in terms of like personality.
Okay.
Yeah, so I felt like, I mean, if she could be there and she could thrive there. And she was the first person that told me this, like, because I had this question too, is like, you create your own talk experience, right? So, and one thing that gives you, because you're kind of like secluded, like from the city, it makes you more immersed
Yeah.
in in the
School
school and
life.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the school life, you are forced to relate with people. You are forced to develop relationships. Except maybe I don't know, you kind of like solitude so much, but you're forced to like develop relationship to make friends with people and like connect with people. And there is also something that it says that's like when recruiters when they come, they are fully immersed also because there is nothing else happening. There's no activity outside. They said, oh, they quickly want to go. So they're already like, they are involved. They attend
Yeah.
all the events or things that they are supposed to do. So I think that that is an advantage of that. I can't speak to like the party life because I'm not like a party person. I attend social functions, but because like, it's not like my own kind of like hangouts, I rarely attend like some of the, but like, people create like there are different fun activities that
Yeah.
people do. Like we have different social clubs, fun clubs that people do, game clubs, film clubs. Like people do like we also have like cultural affinity clubs that also organize like different events. So you get immersed, you learn about the Chinese culture, you learn about the Indian culture, like the way people celebrate all is it holy? I
Holly.
mean,
Yeah.
holy in
This is
yes,
Holly,
it's
the
holy,
Festival of
yes.
Lights or Colors or something.
Of colors,
Colors.
yes.
Yeah.
At
Colors.
talk, like people are really immersed, and it's
Yeah.
not just the Indians you would see,
Yeah.
or everybody like is involved. Thing in
The Valley. Yeah.
school, there is also like the Chinese New Year.
Moon
Yes,
something. Yeah.
yes. We also have our own Afrobeat party. Like yes, like the cultural affinity. Like you get to learn about all the cultures, and like you are immersed because these are basically the things that are happening in school. There is also like tripod hockey, which I was really bummed about when I joined. I got my gears. I never attended any.
Oh, smart, smart.
I
I
never
like
played.
that.
No, I didn't be smart. I was just when I saw the game, I was like, "Oh, this game is not for me." Like, yeah. But
Were
then,
you
yeah,
loaning your gear when you didn't use it?
I later gave it out. They were just under my bed. Like I just had them in my big bag. Like
You
I had
you
everything.
chose life. I mean, I respect it.
Yes, I chose life.
I respect.
And then you see people are like walking around school like they've hurt one limb or
Yeah,
broken one bone, and even on the skiway too. Yeah, but I mean, there are
yeah.
people like at talk. People go on ski trips. There's also like the black ski.
I was
You know
gonna
about the
say
black
you
ski?
guys host the black
Yes,
ski now.
yes, yes, yes. We host the black ski. Like I said, skiing is a very big thing at talk, right? Yes, and also like the African community is quite close knitted. Like we are friends. Like really,
Yeah.
really, like we have like Chidubem, is your friend too. Like we have like great connections, and I feel like we also owe that to the environment. I mean, in terms of like the people generally, like the professors, they have like open door policy where like you can walk up to a professor, like share ideas, with them. Like people are just really open and receptive of people, no matter where you are from. I'm very, very respectful too. That is a big deal. While I was at talk, I was the only one that was dressing like the way I dress and like never really felt out of place. People related with me. People were there were people
Curious
that were
about it.
curious about me, like ask question, compliment my scarf,
Yeah.
things like that. Yes. Yeah, that was a big deal for me. Like being an hijabi, the only hijabi in a community, and still like felt that like I belonged in that community.
Yeah.
Um, is a big deal for me. Yeah.
Amazing.
I hope I'm not missing anything about my life at
No, I
all.
think that's good. I think that's good. And I just wanted to clarify. I know we mentioned the top black ski, and we didn't really clarify that. So the black ski is like a ski. It's like a weekend of skiing, right? For those who identify as black students in the business community from like US schools generally. I
Mm-hmm.
think all the US schools have representation, and Top School of Business hosts that weekend. So it's called the Top
Yeah.
Black Ski.
And
That's
it's
that's
not
what it
just
is.
ski. There are other events like
Oh, interesting. I never
networking
went.
event, dinner, and everything. I mean, during the ski weekend, it's not just for skiing and
Mm,
everything. Like
okay.
other events, you get to network. There is dinner and like
Yeah.
also other things.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I always used to say I was gonna go, but something
I never
always came up.
attended to.
Oh, okay. So I don't feel bad. It was in your school and you didn't go, so that
Yeah,
I feel I'm good. God
I
has
never attended,
vindicated
but
me.
like most of my friends did, and they gisted about it, and it was so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not really my arena though.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, that's okay. It's kind of it's kind of what you said about making your own talk or generally making your own MBA, right? There's
Yes,
a
creating
thousand
your
things
own talk
happening,
experience.
so you have to pick and choose where you put your energies. But let's
Mm-hmm.
talk a bit about the MBA experience itself, right? People say the MBA is a 2-year vacation. Nima, what do you say?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It not necessarily. It's not a TF. I mean, if you have something that like okay, the most challenging part of the MBA experience is recruiting. Like getting a job, getting an internship, and then getting a full-time offer. Once that is out of the way, if you have a business background, if you've been in finance and everything, it will pretty much be smooth. Like the academic journey might not require so much from you. Like you have to read your cases, you have to talk in class, you have to
Mm,
do all those things. But I mean, out of the 24-hour day that you have, you don't really spend that much on time on that, right?
yeah.
But the most challenging part is recruiting. If you're recruiting for banking or consulting, banking, I mean, I can speak to banking, I can speak a bit to consulting because I started with consulting. I think I did about 1 or 2 weeks of consulting and I tried casing and I really understand what consulting entails. Like, I'm sticking with my finance. Like, I enjoy this more, is
Yeah.
what I want to do. Power and infrastructure, yeah, that's what I'm currently doing, investment
Okay.
banking and that. Yeah. So it's the recruiting. And then as an international student, there is a layer of challenge. So that also closes some opportunities for you because
Mm,
some companies do not sponsor. And if
yeah.
they don't sponsor, that means as an international student, you cannot apply.
Yeah. There's no
So you have
point.
to make do with like the options that you have.
Yeah.
and try to
And
get
some of
it.
these companies are like big, like they hire a lot
Yeah,
of people, just not internationals. That
just
so those
not
are
international
yeah, that's
students.
a lot
Yeah.
of things to
Yeah.
miss out on.
And I don't necessarily blame you. It's also a lot because they are really investing in your like immigration and everything. So yes, so you have to like go through that. And there is also another layer, the cultural part of it. Like the way we recruit in Nigeria, for example, is quite different from the way recruitment is done here. And there was a bit of like a cultural shock for me, even though it was explained like before coming here to me. Living it was quite
Yeah,
different. Like having to network, having to do small talk, having to
yeah.
do
I
coffee
want you to
chat.
talk about that. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
having to do coffee chat, being comfortable talking to people randomly
Mm,
and like it was a big deal. And for banking, see, for banking recruiting, getting the interview is like the hardest pass. Passing the interview, not necessarily. I mean, it's very competitive, but actually getting an interview is hard because you have to
mm,
do a lot of coffee chatting across multiple banks. You're doing like up to 5, 6 coffee chats per day, talking to different people across banks, trying to sell yourself, have small talks
yeah,
and things like that. So you can start engaging yourself when you go to that party. Strike a conversation with a strange person.
yeah.
That's going to build your confidence. Small talk is a skill. It's something that like it's just talking about random things, not something like super
Mm,
super important, but like having that skill and having that confidence to talk is very very important. And I realized that people that are from here, they're able to do that easily more than we are able
of
to
course.
do it
Yeah.
because I mean they grew up doing it, and I think they even have to have like coffee chat to get into schools or to get
Mm,
their first job and things like that. We never had to do that. You just apply,
yeah.
you show up in interview, even
Yeah.
if you have coffee chats to be after you have gotten the
The
job.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was the biggest cultural shock for me. Having to do that. Then when you get the interview, you did the interview, you get the job. You do internship. Internship is another thing.
Internship.
Internship is
Yes.
another interview. It's just that this particular interview it spans across 10 weeks. So you have to
Mm,
prove to them that
you
you're worthy of coming back full
return. Yeah.
time. Yes. So like getting the interview I mean getting the job, like not showing up every day, putting yourself out there, speaking up, showing you're proactive, like you really want the job. And here you cannot say that, oh, you just want to focus on the job, you don't want to talk to people. No, people have to know you.
Yeah.
People have to want to work with you
Yeah.
for you to get a job here. Very as much as like competence is super important, like is number one. But then people have to like you. Likability is also very important. And you have to
Very
show that you're
important.
very,
Yes.
very enthusiastic about the job. Even to get the
Yes.
interview, you have to be very enthusiastic. They want to see that you want them. Right? Not that they only want you. Yeah, yeah. So even during internship, you also have to show that, oh, I want this job. I would like to be here, and
Yeah.
people have to work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've touched on
that's
so many important things, but let's talk a bit about the emotional part of like, moving to the US, especially considering, the situation at home when you were leaving, your dad being unwell. I mean, a lot of people, one of the emotions that I've heard people, relate to is the feeling of being a very small part of a very large engine, like you feel like a very small clog in a very big engine. And for some people, it takes a while to kind of get out of that place or shake off that feeling and get ingrained in the American culture. What was that process like for you?
I'd say that no matter what you're feeling, you're not the only one feeling like that.
Mm,
That other person that is on from another continent is also feeling like that, even though maybe they have more people from the same continent in their
yeah.
school. Everybody is coming from like totally different place, totally even like the people that are like Americans that are already here, right? They're also coming from like different jobs. Some don't even have like business experience. So like
Mm,
recognizing that you're not alone in the journey. Everybody is what do they call NYSC people like that? Otondo, like white fowl or something. Yeah. Like everybody is white, like coming in. Almost everyone is like
mm,
white and new to this experience. It has varying level, but I think that that should give you some sort of comfort that everybody's feeling that
yeah.
way.
That's
Secondly,
really,
is
yeah.
that you will find your tribe and you can't do it alone. Like have people. People here and people that you talk to at home is very, very important. Don't say that you are already in America, lose all your friends that you have at home, right? Because sometimes you just want to stay away from that pressure of being in this community. An MBA community is a community where you almost everybody is a type A person.
Mm.
Everybody's smart. Everybody is accomplished. So
Competitive.
competitive, yeah. So you need people, you need anchor at home. And if you're lucky to have like a very strong support system at home with like friends and family, don't lose that. Touch base with them. Let them you can find solace in them too. And then you also have people here that can relate with whatever you are going through, that you can have certain discussion with. And you have people back at home that you can talk to and like step back from everything. Because that will also give you clarity to see, okay, how you can navigate the whole situation around me. And it can be, especially when you're recruiting, some people it works out well, like from the beginning, they get the job during the normal recruiting phase. But for some, for many, it doesn't work out that way. So having that, need that mental strength really to go through that. And I would say for me, faith is also very, very important. Like if you believe in God, I don't know. I believe in God and I anchor everything to Him. And I think that also helps me when I'm going through like different phases or challenges
Yeah.
because I just like, there is a verse in the Quran that says that like for every hardship comes ease. And that was really my anchor then. And there is also one that says that, and there is another one that says that where Allah says that, so the prophet that I will give you and you will be satisfied. But like I just tell myself that like yeah, it's going to work out in the end. So having that anchor is also very to God. If you believe in God,
Yeah.
is important. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. It's kind of what they say about reaching for the skies, but having your foot, solidly on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And those anchors, your community, your family, your friends, your faith, those are
Mm-hmm.
the things that will hold you if everything else goes ablaze, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you never know when you would need it, right? You want to have that relationship, those relationships, that community. You want to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't trade it for American friends. So I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
don't trade it. You can have
But
both.
they can have both. Yeah, best
Yes,
of
you
both
should
worlds.
have both. Yeah.
Ideally, should have
Yeah,
both.
you should
Yes,
have
yes.
both. Yeah.
Let's see. So let's talk now. Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit more about kind of your communities in the business school, right? I know you were a big part of the Africa business,
Talk Africa
the
Club.
Af Talk Africa Club, that's what you guys called it. Yeah, talk a bit about like, what being a member of that club was like, being one of the co-chairs or was it co-presidents, the kind of support that you got from that community, and then any other communities that you felt you were a strong member of.
Okay. So like I will talk as the first year and then as the second year.
Okay.
So first is like as my first year, I leaned a lot. Like in my first year, I leaned a lot on like people that are already there, that are part of the community.
Yeah.
Many from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya. Not many from most from Nigeria. Then we have Ghana
Yeah.
and Kenyans, right? The reason why I like it was easier to lean on them because we have the same reality and they have gone through the process. They have gone through the process of recruiting. They have gone through the process of you know, getting themselves settled here
Yeah.
as an international student, as an African student. Yeah. So it was just easier, like, and it was very easy to develop that relationship with them. They were able to like provide some sort of like, is it comfort, guidance, like guiding us. Like it was
Guidance.
more or less like having your personal mentor that is also your friend through the process, somebody that you feel like you can run to without having judgments. This is probably owing to like maybe like personal relationship and all that. But yeah, it was just easier to connect. Secondly, was also like the support in terms of like recruiting. So like aside the club, consulting club, the finance club, they do mock sessions, they do all those things. But then having like it also provided an avenue to have that go-to person that is also like relate. Is the accent issues you have? The person can relate, is this small
Mm.
talk you cannot do? The person understand like person understands where you're coming from, like supporting through that recruiting phase, reviewing your cover letters, like things that you probably consider small, like, but just having that person that you can call, whether it's to rant about your coffee chat experience and things like that. Yeah. So that recruiting support is also there. And there is also like the normal, like general social support. So I want to shop for this thing. This person has a car. I want to um do this. This person has this.
Yeah.
Having is like having home away from home, right? You could visit these people, like have dinner. It's more or less like you're visiting a friend in Nigeria. Like just having that. It has a way of like right. It's like it's having solace. Like when the pressure is getting so much, when the tension is high, having that community has just been is a great one. Yeah. So that is what, and then also like second year, I also did that for people, and also prospective students, guiding prospective students through application, through their essays, reviewing applications and all that, and getting them settled when they come here. Same thing, yeah, that was done. We just um
Page back,
pay back here.
page forward. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, it's good to see that this carries across
And
most
then
of
we
the MBA
also,
schools.
sorry I caught you, like
Yeah.
also like getting the culture out there, like the African culture out there. Yeah. So like participating and hosting affinity club activities, showcasing like the African culture. And we do things like lunch and learn to showcase like the African culture, or like what Africa is like. Some people don't even know. There are people that think that Africa is a country. You get things
Yes.
like that. Just like showcasing that's another thing. Like externally, aside within ourselves, like the school too. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah. This is a very peculiar topic to me. I'm very passionate about this topic because I was vice president of external affairs and alumni relations for the Africa, well, we called it the Duke and Business in Africa Club. And kind of what you said about a lot of people thinking Africa is one country or thinking people live in huts in Africa.
Yeah,
Things like one of the myths that you have to debunk, and
yeah,
it's good to see that
yeah.
you guys were intentional in terms of
Yeah.
putting the right perspective out there.
And that's why you also have to like relate with people. Don't just be in your Africa bubble in school,
Yeah.
because at work you have to relate with at work you have to relate with people across multiple cultures.
Yeah.
So this school is like a training ground to
Yes.
get yourself.
Yes. And one thing people should notice that like no matter how diverse your company is or the firm you're going to work for is, right? You're still going to very likely be a minority. And so
Yeah,
you have to get comfortable around, being
people.
in circles where you're the only black person or the only African, because you're going to need that experience at work. If you don't learn it in business school, you will have to deal with it at work. So,
Yeah,
and you still have to be able to show up, authentically, originally,
yeah,
and with intent at work. So business school is a good place
yeah. And
to learn that and grow that muscle.
work is a much higher stake.
Yeah,
Business school, you have little to nothing to lose.
to
So
lose.
just
Yeah,
use it as a training ground.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I have two more official questions and then two unofficial questions. So we'll see how quickly we can
Okay.
run through them so I can let you go. One is, in business school, it's generally very expensive, right? You've spoken, about that, you've alluded to that. But tell me about the most ridiculous amount of money you spent, if you can remember. What did you spend it on? And yeah, just share
I
his
am the
own
wrongest person
experience.
to ask this. Spend
As an
money.
accountant,
I don't spend money like that. Like it has to be like super important.
ah, you didn't go on any trip.
I didn't go on
I mean,
trek.
trucks are not ridiculous amount of
Yeah,
money,
I
but
didn't go on any trek in school. I traveled. Like
okay,
I did personal travels. I did like
okay.
school travels. But I didn't go on
I
any
can't
trek.
judge you. I can't judge you because I didn't go on any. I traveled with a lot of my classmates, but they weren't official treks. So within the US, outside of the US, but they were not like the official. I didn't go on
Mhm.
any of the official treks, but I traveled with people across the US and met up with friends like outside of the US. I'm not gonna judge you. Just wanted to put that out.
Even if you judge me, I don't care. Like it doesn't freak me. I did my own personal travel. there were a lot of things like associated with it. I don't want to do like I did my personal travels, but I did
Yeah.
not drink. And would
Okay.
I say I spent ridiculous amount of money? Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, not
Okay.
really.
Okay. Fair. Fair. I mean, you're
It
in.
depends on your definition of ridiculous. So, what is ridiculous
You did
amount of
not
money?
spend any ridiculous amount of money.
What is
Is
your
were you not
ridiculous?
in New Hampshire? Like I don't know, you just wake up one day and you have to spend I don't know $300 or $500 on one nonsense thing. And I mean it's when I say ridiculous, I don't mean in the size of the money. It's more so contextually. Like I should not have to pay for this, and I'm having to pay $300 or like that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah. Was there anything? No.
Me, I like shopping, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean I
So,
won't call shopping
so
ridiculous
yeah,
unless you're yeah.
so that's not ridiculous. So I was thinking, in terms of thousands when you said that,
No,
ridiculous
not
amount of money.
necessarily.
Okay.
It could be either ways. Yeah, it could. I mean, it means you were a true accountant, right? You put your accounting tool into use.
I'm
So that's
very, yeah, very
what's the word?
prudent.
Prudent, frugal. Is it frugal?
No,
Well, either
yeah,
could work.
I don't
Mm,
spend anyhow. The only
okay.
thing like I would say that I splurge on is like shopping, getting clothes, bags, shoes,
Yeah.
women things. Yeah.
Okay. Fair, 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 fair. For me, I think it was technology. I like big screens,
Hey,
big
does that count? I
speakers,
feel like
big
that's an asset.
everything. The assets. Honestly, like
I love TV.
you could do with a smaller version of these things. You just want to go big or go home because you care about it, which it's not
Is
ridiculous. I
that
think it's just like what you
splurging?
like, right?
I don't know. I like TV too, so yeah.
Yeah.
That does not count. I no, that does not count as splurging. But if
Okay.
you spend your money on TV, you're investing. You're
Invest.
investing in your leisure.
I like that math. I
Yeah.
like that math. The point of this question was just to put out there that I mean, business is generally expensive. There's a lot of things that want your attention, want your money as well, right? Because a lot of these things require like some form of financial commitment, $50 here, $20 there. Trucks can be as expensive as 3K, 5K
Mm-hmm.
per truck,
Yeah.
and people do multiple per year, they're all good opportunities to connect with people, to express the world and everything. But you want to have your money game in order, especially if you're international, and especially if you haven't gotten a job yet, right? Because you're not really sure how many months after the MBA you might have to survive on your own money without getting income, right? And once you graduate, you can no longer apply for student loans, right? So that's always something that, especially in the second year, you want to prioritize being cash surplus, like having cash rather than, maybe traveling. I mean, make as many travels as you can. They don't have to be expensive trips. They don't even have to be international. The US is
It's so big.
insanely big, right? The US is like 20 countries joined. Like some of these parts are so different, like comparing Arizona to like New Hampshire, they are like very different, right?
New
So,
York.
or
Like
even New
commuting
York,
from New
right?
York to like doing recruiting is like different experience entirely. New York from New
Exactly,
Hampshire, yeah.
exactly. And you can make these trips spend 500, 600, have a good time with friends rather than okay outside of the US. You don't want one thing you don't want to do is to be cash strapped and unemployed at the same time. Right? It's not like Nigeria where you can be unemployed and you still be fine because friends will support you. Everything is expensive in the US. Like you cannot default on rent. If you default on rent, the next day they'll cut off your utilities. 2 days after your stuff is outside, like so you
And
have
then
to
it
have your
affects
money
your
game.
credit score,
Bro, your credit score is
which can
everything in
also
America.
affect your
So
life, your quality
yeah,
of life.
yeah. So you want to have your money game tight, right? Please,
Yeah.
as much as you can, build relationships with folks in your school. But I just wanted to put out building relationship does not always mean expensive tracks. You can build relationships, local events, local travel, things like
Don't
that,
do
and travel when
anything
you can.
that is beyond your pocket.
Exactly, exactly. Now to my final question.
Okay.
Nima, if you look back at 2023 when we were applying, right, the US was in a very interesting place. I mean, we had just come off the COVID-19 high where, everyone was hiring, people were getting like 4 or 5 offers
Mm-hmm.
and having their pick of jobs. And when we were applying, we were having, conversations around, oh, the US is not in the best place economically. But I feel like even more so right now, the economy is probably even worse now than it was 2 years ago. There are also a lot of changes that have happened in the immigration space that it's now a bit more tricky, right? If you were going to be applying to business school now, would you have made the decision to come to the US? And what kind of considerations would you have had in making that decision?
So, like, I would say that, like, the things I mentioned earlier that I considered would still remain in terms of like the biggest thing. So, it's more or less like ranking the things that are important to me.
Okay.
And so, for me, the biggest thing was, what do I want to do after an MBA? The MBA is is a means to an end, right? What is that end? So, comparing that end in the US and New York, I mean, the US and in Europe, for example.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing? Is it at par? What are my trade-offs, right? Secondly is that I would also consider um peace of mind in terms of like peace of mind is kind of like cliche, but like I'm just thinking that like okay, the tension that comes with oh you cannot travel and everything.
Hmm.
What is going to be my status after here,
Yeah.
after school? And then how does this current immigration environment affect my experience? So it depends on
Hmm.
where the experience is in your ranking of the things that you want to that in the things you want to achieve, right? A
Yeah.
big part of talk experience or a bit of the MBA experience is travel. You will do GIX.
Yeah.
That's global experience. There's opportunity for like term exchange. Did um I did a project in my first we call it first year project and I did an international one where I traveled. It was sponsored. Traveled to Germany. That's another opportunity like MBA presents.
Avails you. Yeah.
Yes. But then if you have this like travel limitations, how does that impact the kind of experience that you envision for
Yeah.
yourself? If it is not a big part of it for you. And then the what should be the second part or the yeah, part of the first part is the end. What does this current environment mean for that end you want to achieve? That kind of job
Yeah.
you want to achieve. Would it be easy to get job? Are companies pulling back
And hiring.
from hiring internationals? So if this means that companies are not hiring, that means that your chances of getting that end is kind of slimmer. So maybe Europe. I just feel like it's a personal decision.
Yeah.
Whatever decision you are making, you make it from an informed position. Talk to people and
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right in the sense that it's a personal decision, and I just wanted you to provide kind of a framework or a guide as to what people should be thinking about, and you hit the most important things on the head, right? Which is knowing exactly what you're trying to get out of the MBA, and then understanding how the current economic or immigration landscape threatens or supports what you're trying to do, right? So if the having a global experience, travel, immersions, if that's like pretty high on your, goal list, and you realize that you might not achieve that, then it might be a thing where personally it's not a great time. Whereas if if that's like something you don't really care about, then it might not really factor into your thinking. So yes, thank you for presenting that framework. Now to my two final unofficial questions. One, tell me something about talk that I cannot
when I
find
feel
in
like this
brochures,
questions is
right?
hard.
It's not. It's just tell me something about talk that I have to be at talk to know or to experience, right? So it can be as simple as, a restaurant that is famous within the talk community, or it might be like an alley or a tunnel that is hidden in one of the buildings, or a painting or an artwork, something that I cannot know unless I go to talk.
Now you got me thinking. I'm thinking that can you not know unless you get to talk? So I have to think back to my talk experience. You didn't tell me
Okay.
this question before now. I'd have asked
Yes.
something.
Intentionally.
I would have something prepared. Like I would have thought about it.
Intentionally.
Hmm. Okay. The things that come to mind, I feel like if you have conversation with people, they will tell you about them. Yeah, so we do small group dinners. Like we're like somebody we host. if- They will give you money. Like you host people. People will come. They'll pick people. They will assign people to
Oh,
you. You know
yeah,
that, right? People talk about it. That's what
more
comes to my.
experience. I mean,
Uh,
you might
you
not find that in the brochure, so
that's
it
small
probably
group
works.
dinners.
Yeah. I think I do. We called them. What did we call them? It was part of the global week, and it was like global experience dinners or something. Like 5 or 6 people. You volunteer to be a host. You get some budget, and then you
Yes,
make food
yes,
from your
yeah,
culture. People come to experience your culture. Yeah, that's the idea.
yeah. What else?
You tell me. Is there anything else?
Like you said things that unless you come to talk to experience, I feel like my all the
Yeah,
things.
it might be. It might also be something around Hanover itself. Just not something that you can just go online and just find XXX
If you
about
don't have a
talking.
car, it's very hard to move around. So that's why you actually need friends. Like you need friends. If you don't have a car, I mean there are like shuttles that will move around the area, like move to different locations. They are scheduled
Yeah.
shuttles. But then it's not usually as easy as like having cars. So I have like many friends. I want
Okay.
to go this place. I want to go to this also some place. So what that's one thing about the TikTok community. Like I said, the immersion. People are so happy to help. You can just put it on group me that I want to go to so place. Is anybody going there, or is it somebody might be willing to take you? Oh, I'm traveling. I'm coming from Boston. I'll be at
I need
Lebanon
to
by
be
this
picked
also
up at the
time.
airport. Yeah.
Can somebody please help? And if people are very open to help. Even early
Amazing.
in the morning, like
Amazing.
there was somebody that like during recruiting, I needed to travel to New York, and my flight was very early in the morning, around 6 p.m. There was somebody that volunteered to take me to the airport. My friend, around like was it 4 or 4:30, or things like
What's
that.
the interesting?
So yeah, nice people.
Thank you. Interesting.
We
That's
call
good.
it top
That's good.
nice. So
Top nice.
yeah, so you have to come
Okay.
to experience it. Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, tell me something about you that we haven't spoken about. So something you're interested in, involved in, a hobby, something that's not about your career or the MBA that we haven't spoken about.
Okay, yes. So now I have a new interest in social media. So
Okay.
I have like something I call the public reflection diary on Instagram, where I just talk about my personal experience in form of stories, and I
Okay.
highlight lessons on that, like on from the stories. They revolve around like career, lifestyle, and faith. And I feel
Okay.
like they are very, very enjoyable from feedback and from watching
Okay.
myself
Okay.
too.
Okay.
So,
Where should we go to
so you
find
can
this?
follow me on Instagram at Neemah Notes. Yes, and I also have a YouTube channel called Neemah Notes.
In my
Same.
notes.
Yes, on
Okay.
Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Same name, Neemah
Perfect.
Notes.
Okay. I'll put a link to this in the description.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nima. I just want to take the time to thank you so much for taking the time to be here. It was good to chat with you about your experience at Talk.
You're welcome. I'm also excited. Like I've really enjoyed this conversation, and yes, I hope you viewers also like enjoyed it as much as I did, or even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned
Yeah.
to this channel. Ayo has a lot to offer, and this could be your guide for your MBA experience.
Oh, thank you for the cosign. I appreciate it. Thank you. As you guys have heard, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. And there are more episodes like this from other very prestigious schools in the US. Think about the M7, um, Talk, so the M7 Ivy League, and just generally top 15 schools in the US and Europe. Students like Nima are going to be coming to share their experiences, unique perspective that only people who go to those schools can share. So um, you want to be subscribed and you want to have notifications turned up so you don't miss any of that. But thank you so much for tuning into this episode and see you guys on another episode of the Business 101 podcast. Thank you, Nima.
I'm supposed to go.